Introduction to Lifestyle Medicine and Nutritional Science. I got board certified in lifestyle medicine in 2018. These days, lots of diseases are lifestyle related. For example, hypertension, diabetes, coronary artery disease, obesity, and more. Lifestyle medicine is an evidence-based approach to preventing, treating, and even reversing these chronic diseases by making lifestyle changes. There are 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine: nutrition, physical activity, stress management, avoidance of substance abuse, adequate sleep, and social connections. I will talk about the first pillar, nutrition, today. There are 3 macronutrients. Macronutrients give energy. 1 gram of carbohydrate will give 4 calories. 1 gram of protein will give 4 calories. 1 gram of fat will give 9 calories. Water is also a macronutrient. Micronutrients: vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, and antioxidants. When I was in medical school, I did not learn about phytochemicals. Examples of phytochemicals are curcumin in turmeric, lycopene in tomatoes, and resveratrol in the skin of red grapes. So far, more than 10,000 phytochemicals have been identified. Fibers. Fibers feed our gut microbiota. To get these nutrients, we eat food. And I have classified food in 3 groups. First group is processed food. The ultimate processed food we eat is sugar and processed grains. I will draw a grain to make you understand the difference between a whole grain and a processed grain. So the center portion of the grain is endosperm, which is mainly starch. The outer covering is bran, which has vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, and fibers. Germ has vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, and unsaturated fat. If I put this grain in the soil, roots will come out, and then leaves. After that, the plant will make its own food with the mechanism of photosynthesis. Until photosynthesis starts, the plant gets its energy from the endosperm. So one grain has everything it needs to make one plant, and that is whole grain. We process it. It is also called polished grain or white grain. And we keep just the center portion, which is endosperm, mainly starch. We remove bran, we remove germ. Examples of processed grains are white rice and its products. White rice is commonly used in Indian cooking in dishes like rice, pulao or biryani, khichdi, idli, dosa, handwo, dhokla, kheer, poha, chevdo, दूध पोहा, पापड़ीનો લોટ, પાપડી, ચકરી, rice noodles, ganji, and many more. White rice should be substituted with brown rice. Poha should be substituted with brown rice poha. Rice flour should be substituted with brown rice flour. Puff rice and its products. Obviously, puff rice is processed too. Puff rice should be substituted with puffed brown rice. Tapioca is completely processed starch. When we grind processed wheat coarse, it is suji. It is also called farina. Examples of suji in Indian cooking are upma, idli, dosa, uttapam, halwa, pani puri, and more. Suji should be substituted with whole grain farina. When we grind processed wheat fine, we get maida. It is also called all-purpose flour. Maida in Indian diet: naan, pizza, white bread, parle ji, pastry puffs, rusk toast, naan khatai, cookies, snacks, crust of kachori, samosa, and gugra, flour tortilla, and many more. Maida should be substituted with whole wheat flour or chapati flour. Mesa mix is processed corn flour. Corn tortilla, muffin mix, cornbread, and grits are examples of processed corn products. Glucose is a monosaccharide, and starch is a series of glucose molecules which is a polysaccharide. Remember the starch we get from the endosperm of the processed grain? Starch is quickly digested to glucose in the body, and glycemic index of both is high. All syrups and gall get digested to monosaccharide, and their glycemic index is high too. This is normal blood sugar level. This is upper limit of normal. This is the lower limit of normal. This is where my blood sugar is. Over the time, it is coming down. At this point, I'm a little hungry. I feel like eating something. If I choose 100 calories from sugary drink like soda, my blood sugar level will quickly go up. It is higher than the upper limit of normal, so insulin will spike. And because of that, there will be overcorrection, and I will be hungry in less than an hour. Instead, if I choose 100 calories from white bread, blood sugar will rise relatively fast too, insulin spike, overcorrection, and I will be hungry in less than a couple of hours. Instead, if I choose 100 calories from beans, it takes longer for beans to get digested, sugar is released slowly, no sugar spike, no insulin spike, no overcorrection, and I will stay full for longer. In all these three options, calorie load is the same, 100 calories, but glycemic index is different. It very much matters which 100 calories I choose from. We do not want sugar response 1. We do not want sugar response 2. We want sugar response 3. We get that from unprocessed plant foods. Animal products, meat, poultry, eggs, seafood, dairy, milk, cheese, yogurt. In American diet, animal products are consumed with each meal because it is considered a good quality protein. Animal products do have all essential amino acids, and they are complete protein. And because it is a complete protein, IGF-1 level goes up. IGF-1 is insulin-like growth factor 1. It is called insulin-like because it works on insulin receptors. IGF-1 and insulin are both pro-growth hormones. Both promote the growth of fat cells, cancer cells, and aging. When there is cell proliferation, let it be fat cells or cancer cells, it needs its own blood supply. So new blood vessels have to form. That process is called angiogenesis. IGF-1 and insulin both promote angiogenesis. Examples of food that spike insulin and IGF-1 both. So milk in tea will spike IGF-1. If sugar is added in tea, it will also spike insulin. The snacks we eat with tea has some kind of processed grain with or without sugar. These snacks will spike insulin. Cornflakes will spike insulin and milk will spike IGF-1. Suji dhokla or white rice dhokla will spike insulin and yogurt will spike IGF-1. White rice and sugar in kheer will spike insulin and milk will spike IGF-1. Sugar in sweets will spike insulin and milk product will spike IGF-1. Milk should be substituted with unsweetened non-dairy milk. Yogurt should be made from non-dairy milk too. In each one of these food choices, there is a processed grain and or sugar that will spike insulin. Each one of them is paired with some kind of animal product that will spike IGF-1. You can pause and identify the processed carbs and animal products in each one of these pictures. Processed meat is a group 1 carcinogen. Bacon, sausages, salami, corned beef, beef jerky, canned meat. World Health Organization has classified processed meat as a group 1 carcinogen, same as tobacco, asbestos, and alcohol. Yes, alcohol is a group 1 carcinogen. Red meat is a group 2A carcinogen. When we consume dairy, IGF-1 spike is even higher. Why? Because milk is for baby cow. Baby cow quadruples its growth in first few weeks of life. It will create pro-growth environment in human body too. Third group is plant-based whole foods. Plant products that should be consumed in its most natural form without processing or minimum processing. So these are our 3 food groups: processed foods, animal products, plant-based whole foods. I have few questions for you. Which food group alcohol belongs in? Processed food. Which food group oil belongs in? Processed food. Which food group pea protein powder or vegan protein powder belongs in? Processed food. And how about artificial colors and flavors? Processed food. So back to our third food group. A whole food plant-based diet consists of all types of vegetables, legumes, beans, peas and lentils, fruits, nuts and seeds, whole grains, herbs and spices. Eat all colors, all varieties from all food groups. The idea is to maximize varieties of phytonutrients and fibers consumption. One more time, in its most natural form, without processing or minimum processing. This is how our food should look like. I see abundance of phytonutrients and fibers. This is how Indian food can look like. All these food items are prepared without oil, ghee, butter, no milk or milk products. Most of them have no salt, and of course, no processed carbs. We have countless options in Indian cooking. Health equation. If you get more micronutrients for the amount of calories you eat, health will improve. And reverse is also true. If you get less micronutrients for the amount of calories you consume, health will deteriorate. Calories from 1 pound of food. 1 pound of cabbage will give 120 calories. 1 pound of orange will give 210 calories. Cooked beans 500 calories. Cooked brown rice 500. Whole wheat bread 1100. Almonds 2600. Oil 4000. When we eat vegetables and fruits, we get lots of phytonutrients and fibers. And we can eat large bulk of food without getting tons of calories. That is why we should eat more vegetables and fruits. This is how our plate should look like. 50% of the calories from vegetables, half raw and half cooked. 10 to 40% from beans, 10 to 40% from fruits, 10 to 40% from seeds and nuts, 20% from whole grains. 20% of calories from whole grains is adequate for large percentage of the population. No more than 10% from animal products, poultry, eggs, fish, dairy, and oil all combined. Please don't eat cheese, sweets, processed food, white rice, white flour, and factory farmed animals, especially red meat. Our diet is grain based. It should be vegetable based. These food groups reduce cancer risk. Grains, all of them, beans, onion family, onions, garlic, green onion, green garlic, chives, scallions, leeks, shallots, and others. Mushrooms, all of them, berries, seeds. These four food groups should be consumed raw, and beans and mushrooms should be consumed cooked. Acronym to remember this is GBAMS. These food groups inhibit angiogenesis. Eating micronutrient-rich diet causes weight loss that is permanent, promotes longevity, derails hunger and food cravings, increases immune function and disease resistance, has therapeutic effect to reverse diseases, protects against heart disease and dementia, fuels cellular repair mechanism, and protecting against cancer. If you eat plant-based whole food diet, you must take vitamin B12 supplement and vitamin D if you are not going out in the sun, EPA, DHA, and zinc if required. With standard American diet, also called SAD diet, life expectancy in America is 79 years of age. But some people die in their 30s and 40s. If you eat micronutrient-rich diet, median age is 98, and the graph is narrow. Nobody should die before the age of 85. And I want all of us to fall in this group. Do I get enough protein from whole food plant-based diet? Recommended dietary allowance is 0.8 gram per kilogram per day for protein. So for women, on an average, 46 gram. For men, 56 gram. So for 2000 calorie diet, if I decide to eat only one food item, broccoli, I will get 146 gram of protein. If I get all 2000 calories from lentils, I will get 157 gram of protein. Corn, oatmeal, carrots, blueberries, brown rice, potatoes. All whole food plant-based options have protein. Other way to remember is beans and non-starchy vegetable have 15 to 40% of calories from protein. Seeds, 12 to 20% of calories from protein. Nuts, 8 to 12%. Grains, 8 to 18%. Fruits and starchy vegetables, less than 10%. On an average, you get 10 to 15% of the calories from protein, which amounts to 50 to 75 gram of protein per day from 2000 calorie diet. So what is 10% of 2000? 200. We know 1 gram of protein will give 4 calories. So for 200 calories, we will get 50 gram of protein, which is close to the daily requirement. If we get 15% of calories from protein, we get 75 gram of protein, which exceeds the daily requirement. And it is very easy to get 15% by eating more vegetables and beans. Do I get complete protein from whole food plant-based diet? Complete protein has all essential amino acids. Essential amino acids body cannot synthesize. It has to be consumed in the food. Do you remember the list of essential amino acids? I don't remember that either. We don't remember it because we don't need to. Individual amino acid deficiency does not exist. We have never heard of histidine deficiency. Nitrogen is in the air. All amino acids are synthesized by plants, and only plants can synthesize amino acids. Yes, we do get all essential amino acids from plant-based whole foods. When amino acids are consumed from plants, body has to assimilate protein before it gets absorbed. And this is what happens to IGF-1. If you eat plant-based whole foods, IGF-1 will not spike and insulin will not spike. And that is what is required to slow down aging. Have you heard about good carb and bad carbs? Yes? Have you heard about good fat and bad fat? Yes? How about good protein and bad protein? Probably not. Now you know plant protein is a desirable source of protein. Percentage of macronutrients from spinach and percentage of macronutrients from beef. We are talking about protein, carbohydrate, and fat. We are comparing 100 calories from spinach and 100 calories from beef. Spinach has same amount of protein, if not more, as beef. Rest of the calories in beef is from saturated fat. Rest of the calories in spinach is from healthy carb and unsaturated fat. Half of that fat is omega-3 fatty acids. Animal protein is paired with saturated fat, and plant protein is paired with phytonutrients, fibers, plant sterols, and stenols. Recommended dietary allowance for children and athletes is little higher than the average RDA of 0.8 gram per kilogram per day. But they eat more calories for their body size too. So they will easily meet their protein requirement just by eating more food. They can mess it up if they eat white pastas, white bread, or candies. Also, to keep it in mind, oil, ghee, and sugar have no protein. A small group of people eat fruits only. They may not meet their RDA for protein. They should supplement their diet with beans, vegetables, and seeds and nuts. Seniors' RDA is the same, 0.8 gram per kilogram per day. But it is difficult for them to break down and absorb amino acids. Some of them eat very less food. Example, those who are recovering from cancer, chemotherapy, and such. They should be conscious about their protein source. Herbivores don't grab protein shake on their way out of the gym. Do I get enough calcium without dairy? Milk has a lot of calcium, and that is why it is very easy for dairy industry to convince all of us to consume milk and milk products. Milk has a lot of calcium, but cows don't make calcium. They get it from what they eat, grass. We can eat greens and plant products too. Example of calcium-rich Indian food. 100 gram of sesame seeds will give 1000 milligram of calcium. 100 gram of poppy seeds will give 1438 milligram of calcium. Cumin seeds, coriander seeds, almonds, curry leaves, mint leaves, methi leaves, also in other greens, beans, oranges, figs, tofu, fortified soy milk, and other plant-based whole foods. On an average, 30% of the calcium is absorbed from milk and 50% of calcium is absorbed from greens. So if I get 1000 milligram of calcium from milk, 30% will be absorbed. So approximately 300 milligram will be absorbed from gastrointestinal system. Milk has sulfur containing amino acids. That makes pH acidic. To neutralize that pH, calcium has to be released from bones. Approximately 350 milligram of calcium is released in urine. So net is negative 50. If I get 500 milligram of calcium from greens, approximately 50% will be absorbed. So 200 to 250 milligram will be absorbed from the gastrointestinal system. There is always some calcium loss in urine. So net is positive 100. Multiple studies have proven that hip fracture rate is highest in countries where dairy consumption is high. Hip fracture rate for women per 100,000. If you see Denmark and Sweden, where dairy consumption is highest, hip fracture rate is highest too, compared to, say, China. Healthy bones is not just calcium intake. Weight-bearing exercise and resistance exercise, vitamin D, vitamin K, phytochemicals, trace minerals like calcium, manganese, magnesium, and others. Manganese is mainly in plants. Favorable dietary acid-alkali balance. Excessive amount of sodium, alcohol, coffee, and smoking will negatively affect bone health. If you did not understand anything I said or cannot remember anything I said, just remember one thing. If you don't see fibers, don't eat. These are our 3 food groups: processed foods, animal products, and plant-based whole foods. Do you see fibers in processed foods? No, they are removed during processing. Do you see fibers in animal products? Fibers give structure to plants, none in animal products. And how about plant-based whole foods? Processed food. During processing, fibers and phytonutrients are removed. We already discussed that processed carbs will spike insulin. It is easy to overeat on processed food, and that can cause food addiction. Animal products. There are no fibers and phytonutrients. Phyto means plant, no phytonutrients in animal products. We already discussed that animal products will spike IGF-1. They are a source of saturated fat and cholesterol. By eating animal products, we support animal cruelty and participate in global warming. Whole food plant-based diet, there is an abundance of fibers and phytonutrients. There will be no insulin spike or IGF-1 spike. And that is what is required to slow down aging. Plant-based whole foods keep us satiated. I encourage you to overeat on non-starchy vegetables. Also important, moderate physical activity, adequate sleep, social connections, stress management, and avoidance of substance abuse. These are the rest of the pillars of lifestyle medicine. Each one of them is a lecture topic on its own. Plan for long life. You will be happy if you have teeth in your 90s. Brush twice and floss at least once a day. Sunglasses block ultraviolet rays. Loud noise can damage middle ear. If you learn something new, like new language or music, if you keep working and eat healthy foods, the brain will stay young. Make sure your money will last as long as you live. I suggest you see these documentary films. And that's me, 1986, 2020. I hope you have noticed my outfit. Thank you.